Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Relationship Advice. Our first post is by Throwaway. What to say to my 32F neighbor, 32F, who blew up on me 2 years ago and is now apologizing because she misses my husband. Background. My husband and I moved into our house 3 years ago and instantly became very close friends with the neighbor's husband and wife that we share a backyard fence with. Long story short, 2 years ago the wife blew up at me, called me a bunch of stuff I can never forgive, and also made it clear she is into my husband. Hindsight is 2020, we both now see signs had been there. The day after, she sent me an apology text, which was a non-apology, basically saying I meant what I said but I shouldn't have said it. She asked if we could still be friends. I declined and she blew up on me again. A few months after our friendship ended, she blew up her own life and left her husband and kids. I had heard they may be trying to get back together but didn't concern myself with their life. My husband has kept a larger distance but still hangs out with the husband once in a while, a beer here and there, some projects together in the garage. Note, the neighbor wife loves garage projects and used to love hanging out during this. So this takes us to the issue. Yesterday, my husband went over there for a beer. I told him to have fun. An hour later I get a text from the wife. It basically says, I know I said rude things to you in the past. I was wondering if I can apologize to you in person. Let me know when you're free to meet. Anyway, I don't owe her my time. I have zero interest in giving her space in my life, and even if I was interested, I can't trust her, so I'm not going to reply. However, I do believe she will eventually see me in my yard now that spring is here and try to have this conversation with me in person. She has a history of being polite until she is told no, and she has a victim mentality. So I want to approach this in a very clear way without giving her ammo to say I wronged her somehow. Can anyone help me come up with a sort of script, if or when she tries to say all of this to me in person? Our next post is by Throwaway. My husband 27M cheated on me 27F with a girl he met online 20F, and she wouldn't stop contacting him. Any suggestions how to go about this? To start with, I am currently 8 months pregnant. I know stress isn't good for the baby, but it was all so sudden. Basically, my partner just confessed about cheating on me just a few days ago. This cheating started about 3 to 5 months ago. We'll elaborate on this later. Bottom line is, I had a feeling he was doing something bad behind my back, but I was hoping it was just sexting, and was planning to confront him after I give birth, which is on this coming May. He beat me to it, and I never expected that it was so severe because he went all the way. One reason for this is because he knew that my father cheated on my mom, and I ended up having a stepbrother. It was a traumatic experience. Anyways, he couldn't take the guilt anymore, and had confessed to me what he did. He's very remorseful and ashamed of what he did, and wanted to work it out with me. After some thought I agreed and decided to give us another go. For the baby as well, I have a problem with the other woman though. She wouldn't stop contacting my partner, and I want to know if I should reach out instead and tell her to stop so we can fix our marriage. For some context, last October 2023 we found out we were expecting. We were thrilled because we've been trying for 6 months prior. We were close to visiting a fertility clinic. Then, fast forward to today, my partner confessed to cheating on me, and it started last November. That time he started chatting to other women online, then one of those girls took an interest in him and started seeing him. They went on dates, nothing physical. Then a month later that girl found out about me and the baby, so they broke it off. My partner thought that was that, and stopped the chatting altogether and focused on me and the baby, while keeping all of this a secret from me, by the way. A few days after that though, still in December, the girl chatted him back and just wanted to be friends. I don't know what kind screwed up friendship she has because this led to them dating and going all out. It became physical. To put more context into this, the other party is 20F, a working student, and she had been eager to leave her home and wanted to rent an apartment of her own. The thing is, my partner has a nice stable job. I do too, but despite him earning more money than I do, we still split the bills 50-50. So my partner is left with a lot of extra money. The girl had asked to look for an apartment for the two of them with him. I guess this is when my husband got scared into telling me. The day he confessed, I first told my family. I honestly felt bad about telling my mom because I saw in her eyes that she sort of relived the time my dad cheated on her. Afterwards, I told my husband's family. His family are lovely people. They love me and does not tolerate what he did, which I am ever so thankful for. Me, my partner, his family and my family all talked about it, and both parties agreed to give it another go. I wasn't forced, in case you're wondering. My partner cut all ties with the girl, gave me complete access to his phone and bank account. His idea, by the way, and all has been good since then. Earlier today, my husband told me that the girl still calls him. She was already blocked, but he'd get notifications that a phone call was blocked and it was her number. She called him 4 times yesterday and 3 times today. I'm just pissed off at this point and want to tell her to F off, but I don't know if it's a good idea. Any suggestions how to go about this? Thank you. Note, no, the girl isn't pregnant. And yes, I made my partner take tests and it was all negative. Our next post is by Borgmaster. How do I, 33M, convince my fiancé, 32F, to tone down her wedding goals? My fiancé and I are in the middle of wedding planning. Between the two of us, we make okay money, but our savings isn't really that much and was intended for a down payment on a house during a move in the next year or two. We got engaged this year, and she wants the wedding next year before we move. All of this sounds reasonable until we get to the wedding size. She wants 350 people there. Almost all of this is her family. This is non-negotiable. Any attempts to tamper down that number result in tears and saying she doesn't want a wedding anymore. The way things are going with her wedding goals will put us easily in $30,000 debt. That's if I put my savings into this. It's not that I don't want a wedding, but realistically, we can only really afford at most 100 people. A number that only results in more heartbreak and crying from her. $30,000 debt is not something we could easily shrug off in just a few years. At best, that's a 5-year loan on my income, and that's only if I could keep my general level of income after the move. We want to move because we live in Southern California, and rent will easily outstrip our income in the next few years. It's the reason our savings isn't great as it is. She is putting me in a position where we can't buy a house for at least 3 to 5 years if we do it her way. It would take that long just to pay the bank for the wedding. Take to mind the only reason we were going to make the attempt to buy a house next year was her as well. Living in an apartment is not where she wants to be in this stage of her life. I feel she is putting me in a catch-22 situation. How do I approach her to, at the very least, let me reduce that number? I want a wedding as well, but any attempts at a compromise just make her shut down and not talk about it for a while, only to have her bring it up again with nothing changed. From what I can tell, I am fighting her instincts as a firstborn, needing to impress her family and generally not wanting to show weakness in wealth. The weakness in wealth bit has been a problem in the past and has resulted in her putting herself into serious financial instability. Keep in mind, she doesn't have money to burn as it is, and because of that, I only rely on her for a small portion of the household bills. Something that does hurt her pride because she wants to contribute more, even though she can't due to her constant burning of money on her family. My attempts at compromise are clearly damaging her pride and bringing out a ton of insecurity, and I think shame even, though I can only guess based on her reactions. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.